Hello, and you're listening to Listen to Local with Adam Velo. And today's guest we have today is Patrick Kassas, who is a dream pop artist with a soundscape to a halftime breakdown reminiscent of 2000s rock ballads. And yeah, got a new release that we'll be talking about today, which is Running with the Wind. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure having you on today.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so of course we've got the new release that I mentioned, which is Running with the Wind, that
Yeah.
many would say reads like a journal entry. What comes from this chapter of the journal, and which you describe as mourning a relationship that never existed?
Um, this chapter is dives into sort of like that emotional bond you have with a friend, sort of like
Mm,
a best friend kind of that something more is there, but you're both not ready. It um yeah, it's kind of I feel like this song was very much like me just saying all the thoughts I had to this one person. Um And the reason I feel like it feels kind of like a journal entry is because at the time that I was going through the experience, I was journaling a lot
mm,
to help me understand my own thoughts and kind of um, get through the sort of like ending of that situation. This friend that I had was straight or like whatever. Um,
yeah,
I, I don't know. It was like I was the exception, but only to a certain extent. So that's kind of what the song's about. It's like I'm only enough for this person to a certain extent, or like only when we're drinking or only when we're out
mm,
like alone. It could never be anything more than that. And that's kind of what
yeah.
the song's about.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's such a a theme around a lot of friendships in a queer community and in I mean obviously a lot in general with people not wanting to interrupt something that they do want to get involved in but don't know how to say it or whether they know the other person would reciprocate or not, of course. So, yeah.
Yeah.
And you say obviously you use journaling to basically process this whole thing. And yeah, how do you use songwriting as a process to uh, process what you are thinking around this?
Yeah. A lot of the time when I'm songwriting, I don't really plan to write a
Mm,
song. It kind of something sort of sparks an idea, and then I'll open up my notes app or I'll get a pen and I'll just start word vomiting until it makes
mm,
sense. Or it doesn't have to make sense. I can just word vomit, and then sometimes if I want to turn it into a song, I can fix it up later. If not, then it can just live in my journal just on its own as its own thing. But yeah, I guess I use songwriting as a tool sometimes to not necessarily um not like process the events that have happened, I guess, but more so to like help me get through them. I
mm.
find that I write time like while I'm going through something rather than retrospectively.
Yeah.
Um yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. Obviously, there's an interesting dynamic with a lot of because there are a lot of artists that do write from journal entries, and as you say, there's kind of the ones that look more of on a retrospective way, but then there's ones that are more active. And yeah, do you like when is that, do you think the reason that you do it in more of an active sense is that it's, fresh in your mind and yeah, you can connect to it easier through being something you've lived in a very recent history?
Yeah. I find that it's a lot easier for me to draw on experiences that I'm in at the moment just because
Mm,
a lot of the time when something happens, kind of I don't like to talk about it with people.
mm,
I kind of talk about it to myself in my head, and then it gets too
mm,
much. And I just sometimes will write a song about it to try and like have that sort of be the outlet rather than needing to go to someone else. I know I'm very stubborn and like that's a terrible way to look at it because your friends are supposed to be the ones that listen to all this. But
Of
sometimes
course.
you don't want to talk about it. Sometimes you just have
Yeah.
to deal with it on your own, or at least at the beginning. So I feel like songwriting is kind of my best friend in that way. I can, because I don't know, writing it in a song is like, you know that no one else can hear it unless you're putting it out for everyone to listen.
Yeah.
Um, but
I
yeah,
mean,
it's kind
like
of like, yeah,
like today's
it,
example, of course, but yeah.
yeah. But I guess it just feels a lot more um personal and true to myself when I can just write it down rather than try and explain it in words, like
Hmm,
to someone at the moment. It's easier to like figure out what is actually going on up here, kind of like understand it all before I sort of give it to anyone else to perceive. I like to
hmm.
just sit with it for a bit.
Yeah, yeah. Basically, you can run as a troll run and be able to, translate into your own language and sit within that moment before being
Yeah.
able to, yeah, put it out. Um, as we can see with your background and with obviously all your social media, the theme for this specific release is oranges. Tell us about them.
Oranges, where do I start? Um, Great fruit. Great fruit. Um,
Yeah.
Orange is my the way it started was I was getting my hair done. My friend Ao, um, bleaching my hair, and I was talking to her about my music. And then I was trying to like figure out the concepts and like visual sort of stuff for it. And she asked me, she was like, pick a noun, a verb, and an adjective. And then I picked three. I don't know what it was, but then we came to the conclusion of like oranges.
Yeah.
And I was okay, interesting tool. And then I just
Yeah.
ran with it and landed on that. And there's a lot of like imagery and stuff to do with oranges, um, that you'll see in like the little music video that we made. Um, the orange the orange kind of symbolizes um kind of like the things that you're too afraid to say out loud.
Mm,
Yeah, so the video is like it's a one take of me like sitting in a park on a bench. Um
mm.
just kind of minding my own business, whatever. Then people come along and kind of like squeeze orange juice on me. Just one squeezing oranges on me, talking to me. I'm not really like understanding what's going on. And as they're squeezing all of their orange juice on me, I'm kind of taking on the emotions from the orange, if
Yeah.
that makes sense. Because since the orange symbolizes the things that you can't say out loud, they're kind of squeezing it on me. It acts as a metaphor of um, them sort of putting their problems on me without me realizing how it's affecting me until the end.
Mm,
So kind of, I wanted to convey the message of like, it's good that you can always be there for people, but you also need to know when to be there for yourself. And
mm,
sometimes for people in ways that shouldn't be expected of you all the time can be really damaging.
mm.
Um, but I felt like that kind of went well with the song as well, kind of like prioritizing someone and trying to do the best you can for this one person, or for it to not really get you far.
Yep.
I, the video and the song kind of tell different stories, but when you think about them together, they kind of help each other out, and I like
Mm.
that.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously the with the orange itself as well, with you have that sort of sickly, citrusy thing. Like you think of orange as a sweet thing, but through the pouring over the top, it's this kind of, the it shows the intention that someone's trying to be, that sweet thing, but too much citrus. That's where it
Yeah,
becomes too much. Yeah.
and also just I guess we picked oranges because like they are sweet, but they can also be
Mm.
sour, so it's kind of depends what kind of orange you get that day.
Yeah, yeah. As well as this, you are a proud Lebanese Australian artist. How do you think your upbringing in that community influences who you are today?
Growing up in a Lebanese family, My family was a lot more laid back
Mm,
than most. Like, but I didn't really, um, I don't know. It's like it shapes me in a way that's like my songwriting, I feel like is very intentional sometimes with the things I say. It's like, um, the way that I was raised, the way that I was brought up. It's like, I don't, it's just like coming from like a very strong sort of cultural background. There's sort of a lot of expectations on you growing up just to like
mm,
adhere to these traditions and like sort of like stay in line, not
mm,
really like growing up Lebanese, like part of like a huge family is sort of like you're always trying to like keep everyone proud, impress people, and like not sort
mm,
of cross any boundaries or do anything wrong. And it's like it gets to a point sometimes where you're like, am I even myself right now?
mm,
So I guess it shapes my songwriting in the way that it's like I love my background and my culture and everything, but I can also kind of like step out of that sometimes to be able to feel the freedom to speak my mind as clearly as I want to without having those
mm.
those sort of restrictions on me, I
Yeah,
guess. Not really
yeah, and
worrying
yeah,
about having to impress a certain person or make someone proud. It's like this is just who I am and that's it. Take it or leave it, sort of thing. Growing up Lebanese, you're kind of like I don't know if it's everyone, but for the most part, I feel like boys that grow up in like ethnic, with a strong
mm,
ethnic background, or even just boys that grow up, you're kind of told to like not be too emotional, not show too
mm,
much, like sense like that. Especially being um Lebanese, it kind of was like enforced a lot to like men up and sort of stuff. Like look at my dad as a role model, things like that.
mm,
But it's like I was such an emotional kid growing up, and I felt like there was something wrong with me because I was so like I don't know. It was just like I am still the same to this day, and then it took a lot. It took a long time for me to realize that that's okay,
mm,
and I had someone to look up to at that age that was more like me, I guess.
mm.
So I kind
Yeah,
of that I guess that's a big part of like my culture, like playing into my music. I want to
mm.
be able to make sure little boys growing up feel like it's okay to be emotional and sensitive.
Yeah,
It's
and
not
that's
weird.
such a great message to have, and yeah, obviously that's where you, I guess that's where your journal comes from as well, as to be able to write down um, something in a more private manner as well. So yeah, 2025 was a massive year for you actually. Ultimately playing at a sold out Oxford Art Factory stage. What do you hope to take, or where do you hope to take your music in the current year?
I like my music to reach people that need it.
Mm,
Uh, this song and the next couple songs coming out, they all come from different parts of me, and they all stem from that sort of sensitive, emotional side of myself. So I think my biggest goal is always to just make my younger self proud and also just um, encourage being emotional, whether it's
mm,
sad or happy or being able to express that and feeling safe enough to express that is really important to me. So I hope that these find the people that need sort of that reassurance that it's okay to feel what you feel and showcase it. Um, and then I guess in terms of like more, I guess, tangible goals, I would love to put on some more shows and meet a whole lot of new people. I love this community, like the music industry and
mm.
everything. I just like meeting everyone and making friends. So I hope to do a
Yeah,
lot more of that.
yeah. I mean, I've always been such a advocate of the community for that reason. It's just like it feels like everyone's connecting through, yeah, obviously such a common ground. Yeah, at the same time, it can be, split off into so many different ways as well. So you have the individual nature of, the genre, the music taste you have. Yet you'll also meet like-minded individuals along the way. Um, and yeah, obviously, personally, I obviously did have a few strolls with uh, just connecting with emotions as someone who's neurodivergent. So yeah, I do really appreciate yeah, role models like yourself that do um, yeah, put out emotion into their music and normalize it really.
Thank you. It's really sweet.
Yeah. Prior to recording the interview today was Hobbit, and I'm looking at statistics here representing LGBTQI plus musicians, of which 39% of Australian queer artists are male, compared to 54% of the broader music community uh, as a whole. What do you think Australia can do to support queer male musicians?
Um, a lot of it is just listening.
Mm.
Um, also show not necessarily just like listening on Spotify and stuff, but showing up to gigs, showing up to like events and stuff. I always make sure that I go to my friends' gigs whenever I can because it's sort of like you get what you give in a way. I feel like karma comes back around all the time. Good karma is such a real thing for me.
Mm.
And also just show up for your friends.
Yeah.
Um, and I feel like you like I guess that makes a lot of sense for me because I surround myself with a lot of people that are part of that community. So
Mm.
it might be easier for me to just connect, like show up for them, I guess, because we're like part of the same community. In summary, just like not only just listen to the music, but also show up to gigs when you can. That's like a
Mm.
huge part of it.
Mm. No, I fully support that. I mean, you have to think that ultimately the biggest artists that you are seeing in stadium shows or whatever, they did originally start probably playing in front of, 10, 20 people on a random afternoon gig in mostly friends. So ultimately, you just they're people at the end of the day, and you really should like you'll find some amazing, interesting stories from yeah. I mean, obviously these small artists that are trying to make it big just as the others. So yeah, I highly encourage obviously small good people going to smaller shows.
Yeah,
Um, yeah. But yeah, in terms of the bigger artists, that's yeah, obviously emerging at the moment. I saw a couple of names that were mentioned as co-signed of yourself with recent Coachella performer Nina Geraci and the incredible Charlie, of course. What brought
yeah.
upon these?
Nina, I met her at a songwriting camp in Bali, like
Mm.
end of 2020. Um, she's so sweet. We ended up writing a couple songs together. Um, yeah, I don't know. It was pretty much just like a week staying in like a villa in Bali, just like riding with a whole bunch of people. It was like the best week of my life. I really want to do something like that again. So
Yeah,
that's where we met. And yeah, seeing her, I didn't go to Coachella, but like seeing it online and everything,
yeah,
um, so sick. Like she's doing incredibly
yeah.
well. And so cool to like see her blow up in the way that she has. And then Charlie was actually a really big inspiration for one of the songs on my first EP. Um, and I've just seen her a couple times at shows and stuff. Yeah, and she's just like shown appreciation and a likeness to me and my music as well. So that's been really sweet.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, Nina, it's incredible to have gone from, I mean, obviously been around for a little while now as a performer, but like the last album really blew up from obviously many ARIA Award nominations, obviously Triple J Hottest 100 and multiple players there, and then yeah, obviously to the point that now at Coachella and did a obviously such an incredible job there. Did you ever like when you were with Nina in that Bowie camp? Did you? I assume you would have seen the potential there to blow up as an artist.
Yeah.
Mm,
Well, I also had been listening to her for a bit before the camp as
mm,
well. Um, so I don't know, just getting to know her through her music before getting to know her as a person, it was really cool.
mm,
Um, I don't know, it's cool to like be a fan of someone and then meet them and be like, wow, they're just
mm.
a person and also really nice.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And Charlie, I saw the other night and put on, obviously, an incredible show. The choreography and performance value is just one of the best that Australia does see. So, yeah, and obviously, just such
He's
a down to earth person as well.
yeah, playing here next week. I'm going to that.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think it might be this week. I don't know. She's playing in Sydney soon, and my friend Lovey is opening, and I'm so excited to see
Yeah.
both of them perform. Jet Blyden as well. I've been listening
Yeah.
to him too. He's I can't wait. I can't wait for that show. Incredible
Yeah.
lineup.
And but that does actually bring us on to the next question. Who are some artists around Australia that you are enjoying right now?
Yes, those three to
Yeah.
start with. Also have really been loving Jackie Oberg. She's
Mm,
incredible. Sailor, Saylor. She's incredible as well. Both of them have been making such cool music, and I can't wait for all their stuff to come out. I've been listening to Peach PRC's new album,
mm,
Porcelain.
yeah, yeah,
Incredible. Um, yeah, those are like the main ones that come to mind really
yeah,
quickly. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I know that so many people go around the new Peach album, and yeah, obviously we'll check out a lot of the other artists that you mentioned as well. But of course, for people wanting to check out yourself, where do people go to listen to your work and find out more about what you're doing?
Yes, you can find my work everywhere you can find most music.
Yeah.
Up to all the platforms. Um, and my Instagram, my socials, everything is just Patrick Kassas, Kassas. I'm excited to be sharing all my music and journal entries as well.
Yeah.
Um, first one the other day, it was a bit scary, but also like, who really cares? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I've kind of
Yeah.
just gotten to this is me and this is what I wrote in my journal. Do you like it? Like, that's
Yeah.
like it's deeper than that. It's like, whatever.
Oh, that's a good point to wrap up on that. So, but on the final one, I do ask artists when they have a new release, just out of general curiosity, what is personally your favorite lyrics of the release?
Really love the whole thing. I feel like it tells the story really well from beginning to end. But there's a little outro part that I added, um, like after I thought the song was like pretty much done. My friend gave me the idea to like extend it and add a little outro part, and I was like, cool. Now I need to figure out new lyrics. And one of them, the last song, is because baby, loving me is never enough, and I feel like that sums up the whole song really well because it's the only
Mm,
time I say it, and it's after the whole story's been told. I feel
yeah.
like that's a really good line.
Yeah, a great line to finish the song on, and of course, a perfect line to also finish today's podcast on. So we will.
Yes.
But no, I really appreciate the time that you've spent today on the podcast, and yeah, obviously, look forward to the music video and all further releases coming up. So thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you for having me. This has been so fun.